Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I think my audio is off.
There you go. Now I can hear you.
There we go. How's it going? Reiki, right?
Reiki, right like a grain, key like a door.
Yeah. Well, nice to meet you. My name is Dimitro, and we got my colleague Jeff on as well.
Hey guys, hey Enrique. Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Nice to meet
So
you.
what's the most exciting thing in your guys' world right now?
DAOs basically, which I guess is the focal point of this discussion. I know we spoke last, I think about 2 weeks now with your colleague Joachim. So yeah. Remember we were talking just in terms of like your team structure, and he mentioned that either it was you or someone who was more Web3 oriented, like more on like the Web3 side. Is that kind of your background?
Sure, I do token engineering, complex systems design. So when ecosystems come together to do something, we can help talk about their value flows, how they make decisions, their organization structure, all the things of how do you get humans to coordinate. So that's kind of where I live. I'm personally excited about doing that for eco villages, small scale towns, and alternative social systems from kind of the bottom up. So we're working with a whole bunch of villages across the globe that are getting started. Some that have been in operation for a decade plus, and they're just looking to, enter the Web3 tooling, but really showcase a variety of different ways that we can design civilization, essentially. So that's kind of the broad vision, and practically how we put that into place is helping launch Hypha, which is a DAO tooling and DAO builder. And I could show off what that is. And then SEEDS, which is a new economic system. So it's kind of like if Bitcoin was a new financial system, it was able to do financial things. How do we go a layer deeper than that? Like capitalism is a system of what's valuable. How do we discern value? How do we make decisions? And how do we coordinate? But it's one system of many, and socialism's not the only alternative. Like the alternatives are completely new types of systems that have never before been possible because of Web3. So I think you guys get all of this. I'm just setting the stage. That's kind of how I show up and what I do. And I'd love to kind of get the same reflection from both of you and kind of what's your driving force here, and how you guys show up. And also, what are you looking for, in this relationship? So anyway, I'll pass it back to you, Dimitro or Jeff, whoever wants to go.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. I think for us specifically, we're also obviously we're oriented more so towards DAOs and just creating an environment for DAOs to grow and basically flourish through our ecosystem. Which, for context, the layer 2 sidechain that we built. And the idea is essentially we want to create a suite of DAO tooling, a comprehensive suite, so that any DAO that's building on our network, the Verse network, will have all the resources they need at their fingertips, so they won't have to go from one tool to another on like a highly congested chain like Ethereum. So our focus really is on DAOs and trying to basically help the DAO industry grow in general. Obviously, it's been on the come up as of late, and we hope that we expect that to continue going into this year and beyond. So that's sort of our thesis and approach. So that's sort of where we're taking the angle at it. And I obviously with Hypha, we see the. Oh yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, the only thing I want to add was we're definitely approaching it mostly on the Web3 crypto-based projects, right? Versus you and Hypha have this amazing, very cool grand vision on, as you mentioned, villages, redefining economies in Web2, as well as your SaaS backgrounds. It's really, really cool. I mean, Dimitro and I came from traditional finance and traditional tech and SaaS. What you guys have built and cultivated is amazing to see. So for us, I think our expertise and experience in Web3, we're really focusing there. But I think where we can collaborate is merging and helping our projects and communities collaborate with each other. I think that's a really cool thing where Web3 can obviously just the knowledge collaboration, yeah, it's really the knowledge collaboration, and I think that's where it's gonna be most exciting. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to jump right to a proposal, setting more context. You know, what are DAOs? They're how we coordinate at scale. They're tools to help us do that. So if the main goal is coordinating at scale, so we can, you know, build different types of civilizations, solve humanity's problems, etc., then there's other patterns for how we do that too. One of them is like how we form startups. You know, capitalism is everyone's forming a startup and kind of competing. It's incredibly redundant, incredibly wasteful, and it's just not an effective model, you know, because we're hoarding information, etc. And we only need, you know, a handful of wallets. We don't need 5,000 wallets, but crypto itself is kind of an inefficient system because we have 5,000 fucking wallets. So anyway, here's my proposal for that, is that we don't do that same thing with DAO tooling, is that DAOs demonstrate how to coordinate differently. So what we've done in Hypha is we have this concept of constellations. So how Hypha makes money is every DAO that joins the Hypha constellation has to acquire and stake Hypha tokens. And also within that token, there might be fees for specialty contracts or whatever. Or if that constellation just wants fees for everything, then maybe that's what they choose to have. But the idea is there's different constellations that could be run by different DAOs. So Hypha is one running a constellation. We might actually run a couple constellations, and each constellation can have its unique token. So my proposal to you is that we could say, hey, you know, we've actually distributed tens of millions of dollars over the course of 5 years building out tooling. It's all open source. We've already designed kind of a middle layer. We could actually just merge tools that you guys have already built and we've built. And then you launch your own constellation with your own DAO, your own token. So you have your own incentives, your own token to distribute, to fundraise using the same tooling we've built. And then when both of our ecosystems are building tools, kind of focusing in a different direction, then we're growing our own value. So we don't have to hire separate engineering teams and build the same tooling over. We share all the toolings, but you have your own incentive structure. So that's one route that's really easy, is, you know, piggyback off what we've already done, launch your own token, redirect these tools into the crypto world and like present them to those audiences and kind of focus on that. And, you know, we'll focus on the regenerative story and all the crazy hippie stuff we're doing. And it'll be great because then we'll have two different perspectives kind of covering a wider market, growing a more powerful tool set. And again, it's pretty impressive what's been happening already. Say again?
What chain are you on?
So that's the cool thing is, here, I'll actually share with you what's going on here. Let me find the...
But yeah, with that said, I think that's a really cool design that you guys have. I'm sure we can figure something out where we're on your, you know, we jump on your, we create a constellation and you can jump on ours too, right? Scratch each other's back. I think it makes sense that we're growing symbiotically across our ecosystems.
Let me show you this. Yeah, and awesome. I'm glad we're at that page. I'm just assuming we are, and that you guys are like, yes, we're also here to figure out how to coordinate at scale better. So let's see how we can weave our organizations to look more coherent. I'm assuming we're on the same page there. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
All right, so here's what we've built, or at least a visual of it, is this idea of a document graph. So a document graph is a middle layer that DAO is gonna all talk to. So this is what happened in the internet age too, is what we see happening in Web3 also occurred with the dawn of the internet, where there's all these different competing layers, which we call blockchains today, that didn't talk to each other. So the internet solved that by creating a middle layer. So we're following that kind of same principle here. But basically what this is that we can integrate with any other layer one. So we can actually integrate into your layer one. And then organizations can build on top of this and just choose what layer one they want to run on.
Yep.
And we've already built this. It took us 2 years. And anyway, point is this is existing and now we're just choosing which layer ones to be compatible with. And then if you are, you get access to this whole DAO that we built. And let me show off what this looks like.
Yep.
Can you see this?
Yeah, I see it. Nice.
Guys, this is extensive. Did Joachim show off what's been going on?
Yeah, he showed some product. This is nice, yeah.
All right. Then I'll just give you a tiny run through for this, and then I can show you a video after that goes into more depth. But either way, we have this concept of circles, so that organizations can set up the different, functions of the organization. So we can call these, it's the same thing as departments and corporations, or a village could actually have a council that's taking care of food and housing. This is a model for redoing local governance systems as well. And we're actually working with a couple municipalities in Liechtenstein and Costa Rica, et cetera, who are municipalities that say, yes, we want to involve people in our governance. We actually say homelessness is a problem. That's a really complex problem, but politicians are being blamed for it. They hate that. So we come to them and we're like, hey, well, actually, you can put up a DAO and actually tell the community, and the homeless people can participate too. And you could say, look, we have $3 billion to solve homelessness. Put up proposals, like help us do this as a community. So anyway, you have circles where you can have different treasuries and governance styles within the organization. And what I mean by governance styles is, we can come over to here. Each circle gets to choose their own unity and quorum levels. So unity is how much has to be in support. Quorum is how many people need to show up. So you can do everything from consent to consensus to traditional democracy to altogether new types of governance systems just by tweaking a couple features here. So it's these two features, and then up into voice is you can actually do some other, again, watch the video and you can get into how in depth the tooling here is, but anyhow, then you can go back and actually tweak further your voice so that within the organization, you can be experimenting with different types of governance systems. And then later, what we're building on top of this is this concept of coordination apps. So it could be entirely different types of governance systems that you can just come up here and just integrate into your DAO. And the integration is pretty cool because anyone can come up and like make suggestions in the settings and kind of tweak some things around, And then if they click, submit change, it'll actually come up as a governance proposal. Which I can walk you through what that looks like. Never mind, watch the video, but it'll come up as a governance proposal, and the proposal passes, then it just updates the DAO. So we have the capacity that we're already been building out the last 3 years to have self-evolving DAOs and ecosystems that are all on chain, completely decentralized, and all the good stuff that DAOs are that you already know about. And we have a whole slew of different types of assets, and all of these are their own smart contract that we built. And they're all on top of that document graph. So everything we built here integrates into that middle layer that I was showing you. And it's compatible with any layer one that we integrate with. So it's a pretty powerful tool set that we've been again building for the last 5 years and put a lot of money into. So it would be really powerful to kind of just work together. Say, great, take all of our tooling, say that we're the DAO constellation or whatever the fuck. We have our DAO token, whatever you want to call it. Sorry for my language. And then, face the DAO world, launch a new token, and we can work together that way. So it's basically continue on with your own startup, change nothing, and have a lot better tooling. I'm assuming that it's better just because we've been on this mission for a while. But that's my side, and now I'd love to see what you guys have, what you think of that proposal, and just anything. And if you think it's wild, even ridiculous, or whatever.
I'm sure. You like you said, you spent 2 years on R&D development. I think a lot of the tools that you have are obviously geared towards Web 2, right? Use cases. With that said, I think we can coexist. Our tools, let's say, are more geared towards Web 3 projects, for example, contributions, integrating with other like subgraphs for validating Gnosis, for Moti. Like the point is the use cases and integrations for us is more for crypto-based projects versus your integrations are better for Web 2 use cases. And those are the exact people that, your target audience, right? So where I see we could do a partnership is, again, coexisting, where our projects that we have for phase 1, we have over 5 billion in token value across 10 projects, across 10 of these projects. The idea is any of our projects that want to intersect and collaborate with Web 2, we could ask them to also build theirs or manage their DAO on the constellation on your side, so that there is a direct access point to your community, your ecosystem. And on the flip side, what I would ask is a favor is on the same, by the same token, is if they want to intersect, right? If any of your Web2 companies want to learn or intersect or collaborate with Web3 companies, they could build the same DAO on our platform. So they have two access points, right? And that's why, after talking to Joachim, I think we felt like, although, yeah, we have competing tools, if you really look at the use cases and our target audience, we could coexist in this sphere of Web2, Web3, right?
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's kind of like the stages, or rather levels of depth of collaboration, right? So like the first stage is just a bridge between the two ecosystems, but maybe we're building tooling that isn't entirely, cross-compatible. The second stage is, if we go deeper, is our tooling is entirely cross-compatible. So that's kind of what I was proposing, is that we were both building into the document graph together. Then our tools are just mirror in both ecosystems automatically. So if you guys build a really cool coordination app, so some tooling in Gnosis, that's an entirely different way of voting. Maybe they decided that they're doing some quadratic voting mechanism or whatever like that. That's an application that then would be accessible across all the DAOs in both ecosystems. So that's a deeper level of collaboration. So yeah, I'm with you. First one is easy. We can do bridges, and that could just be every DAO. There's just literally a button on both sides. It's like, hey, launch your other one over here, and that kicks them off to go launch their, DAO on the other.
Yeah.
So, that could be the case. It's less interesting for me because I'm looking at more like, how do we actually coordinate, across ecosystems and not be replicating and, being redundant.
So no, I think we are coordinating across ecosystems, right? We're trying to figure out exactly how we can add value to your audience and how you can add value to ours, right? Again, you have the Web2 expertise, we have the Web3, if you will, right? I mean, we've been in this space since 2016, and the company's been around since 2019. We have the funding and resources for our side as well. I think you have a very defined roadmap, and you know exactly what your approach is. We know our roadmap is Web3, crypto-based projects. I think again, if we're sure that we're staying in our lane, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so we might be experiencing a false dichotomy of our differences here. So it would be really interesting for me, at least, to explore what you guys have been doing and built. Do you guys have a?
Yeah, we can show you the product.
I'd love to see it. Yeah. I'd love to
hear
and also about your layer one. Yeah, so tell
exactly.
Me.
Yeah. Well, we have our own layer too, but yeah.
Okay.
Wait, so I asked you, for example, how many Web3, how many crypto-based projects do you have in your ecosystem?
Crypto-based, as in they have a token and they're coordinating with DAO type tooling and they're into the whole Web3 thing. Like, what does in Web3 kind of mean?
Meaning they're purely Web3, right? They're purely,
like they don't have a legal entity? Or what does purely Web3 mean? So like my context is I've also, I started mining Bitcoin in 2011. Like I've been kind of building and using these tools as they're just tools, so I see Web3 as there's a different set of tooling on a tool belt, So I don't, there's like an in and out for me. It's like, am I using a hammer or a nail? It's like.
That's a good point. Like, for example, like I personally and D, we're founding members of a social DAO. A close friend that we're helping incubate. It's a founder of a singles DAO, an investment DAO. So like, I guess those would be, to me, more organically Web3, because then the investments that you're doing are mainly NFTs. The social that you're doing is focused on Web3 communities. You see what I'm saying? I guess, what DAOs do you have on your platform today?
So Hypha hasn't launched its multi-tenancy. So this is this concept where other DAOs can launch their DAO. So we only have Hypha because Hypha built the tools just for ourselves. It was kind of self-serving for
Yeah.
the longest time. And they were like, actually, these tools are pretty great. So we have 0. But what we do have is, I think there's like a dozen within SEEDS now of people who have been working together for 2 years and they're running a DAO. They're just using different toolings and Excel sheets right now, getting ready to launch on Hypha. So there's 12 groups that are active, but there's 250 that have applied to launch as part of our beta phase. We're gonna not pick that many, but we have a selection of there, and we haven't really done that much marketing. So we are purely Web3 in that sense too, because we're saying these are a great tool, but we're Web2, I guess, in the sense of, how people can organize and coordinate in ways that they're more familiar with, roles and assignments and all these types of things.
So you have investment DAOs in your 250 that have applied, right?
We're not looking at that so much. There's 2 that, but again, they're focused on regeneration and kind of systems change and, local food systems, that sort of thing.
But that's my point.
Really done any crypto marketing. So I think that's our differentiation, isn't the tooling necessarily, but the audience. And it's just the audience. And that's, people who are familiar with so maybe that's it. It's DeFi that you guys are focused on, and we're focused on refi. They're both fully Web3, but one's regeneration focused and the other one is advancing the financial tooling capabilities that we have.
Yeah, it's social. I mean, it's not just DeFi. SoFi. I mean, social. Social DAOs, right?
This is where then things get really blurry. So that's kind of what I'm saying is like.
Right. I guess my point is our target audience is what you read in Cointelegraph on the news, right? For Web3 versus yours is, definitely more nuanced and it's super cool. But with that said, I don't think you're targeting that audience. So I don't think we're competing because we're definitely not competing in terms of target audience, right? But my point to you is, yes, our target audience is different, but also the tools to serve those audience should be different as well, right? So like the use cases are different, which is why I feel like, again, the coordinating of creating collaborative tools that intersect the communities, that collaborate, knowledge centers, social events, networking. There's a lot we can do here where we can facilitate the natural merge between the two, because it will be inevitable.
I love that. So that we build a bridge back and forth, and then this is something else as a different pattern of coordinating kind of meta, is maybe we get together once a quarter and we have a 2-hour session where we kind of talk about our roadmaps so that we are building distinct systems and different toolings.
Yes.
We are offering diversity rather than just being copycats of each other, and doing shit with a different flavor. It's like, actually, let's collaborate a little bit more effectively to create diversity, right?
Absolutely. We definitely want to, because from a competitive standpoint also, why would we want to build something that you guys are building better? Because honestly, like you said, you spent 2 years on it. You have more you've done a lot more R&D, etc. So we want to differentiate ourselves. You want to, you want to understand our roadmap, and that's perfectly fine. And
we built the DAO for 5 years, and we've
there you go.
The DAO full time for 3 years.
Yeah.
But the tooling to do so other DAOs can launch their DAO has been for 2 years. But anyway, doesn't matter. I just want you to know that we've been kind of doing something different. And let's solidify it. Yes. So I'm a full yes to what you're saying. Sorry, back to you.
Yeah, exactly. Fair enough. Exactly. And our roadmap doesn't have RiFi in it, and to be quite honest. So again, that's just being completely transparent. And also, the other target audience that I mentioned is the obvious: any company, any crypto based project. So for example, a gaming company that wants to create a DAO, those are also our target audience, which isn't part of your target audience, right? So in our phase 1, we have a NFT marketplace that has over 700 million market cap, has never created a DAO, and they want to create a DAO. They're someone we've worked with in the past. They want to create a DAO on our platform. And I don't think that's an audience that you're targeting, right? So yeah.
So then what we could even do is we could have joint offerings to the ecosystems we're approaching or that are approaching. Right. So a gaming platform comes to you and you say both. We have our tool set, which allows you to do this, and it comes with the Hypha tool set that allows you to do this. So that when
Sure.
they're talking to you, they're like, wow, you have the complete package. You know, I can do all of this tooling across this ecosystem. Great. And that extends to everyone we're partnered with. So we have at least 5 that are relevant partnerships that are focused on different tooling for groups as well. One of them is helping them raise funds and do crowd pooling, which is like crowd pooling assets to get started. It's kind of a kickstarting platform as well. Another one that's a really cool exchange. But anyway, stuff like that we can then approach everyone who's coming to us like, great, when you come to us and you build in our DAO ecosystem, we have bridges to all of this. And I think we need to start acting and thinking this way, because this is what the successful ecosystems, a la Terra, Ethereum, et cetera, are already doing really well. And that's because they've been growing it up. So if we've ever been doing that kind of grassroots bottom up, we need to do linear out and go grab up all of the like stranded projects who are out there and actually weave us together, build the bridge and start coordinating more effectively, right?
Exactly.
That's one idea.
Yeah, Dimitri, you want to show them the slide that we have of our phase 1, you know, DAOs that will be on our platform, and then yeah, when we get more time, we'd love to hear the DAOs that you you know, your seed DAOs, as you mentioned, the 12 that you have, and then the other 250, the categories that they're in, and then yeah, I think we can certainly, you know, so these are the DAOs we've already integrated with on the infrastructure side. We've integrated with Chainlink, Gnosis, Graph. So we have indexing, we have you know, so, and then on the right side we have tokens. So these represent over 5 billion. The NFT marketplace I was selling is DeFi. The gaming one is DSA. So think about them as just their own, whatever they are, whatever their product is. They're in the gaming, DeFi, NFT space. They want to create a DAO, and we've have a partnership with them and an agreement with them to create their DAOs on us. And they've already created in our test net, and now when we hit the main net, it'll basically convert over. So we're targeting, again, the Web3 crypto focus, let's say crypto exclusive, let's say, or projects, which you guys aren't targeting.
You know what I love about this is because if you did a video, or at least every one of these projects who is launching on it, they shared like a 5-minute overview of what they offered the ecosystem, what value they're bringing. Then when every new DAO comes to you, they get to watch all of those videos, and it fractals out. So like when we have a video about our partnership, which could very well be this video here, maybe we do a better one. Actually, I propose that we set another call where you just start off and go right into your tool set, what you offer, what your system is. I'll mirror and do the exact same. And then do that with every one of our partnerships. Hypha's already actually been doing some of this. And then when a DAO or someone comes to you like, great, watch these videos. This is everything you get when you integrate with us, right?
Yeah.
And then we just magnify our offering and we just grow exponentially in that way. Because then every DAO that launches on our DAO set brings a tool too, because they have a product or something they're bringing. And then that just integrates into the ecosystem as well. So I think we could really grow effectively and fast with this. So I think it's really powerful. And everything I'm seeing here is a totally different audience than ours. So it's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was trying to stress to Joachim. And, you know, obviously he doesn't come from, you know, the most Web3 background, but the idea is, I just felt like, there's a natural coexistence here. And then, just very quickly, show them the slide about our token and our company. So we actually pivoted into DAOs in like a year and a half ago, but our original company was a tokenization protocol. So we are listed across 30 exchanges, as you see, the big ones, Binance, Huobi, and our market cap right now is about 300 million. So we are, you know, we have private investments, we have funding, so we're certainly a legit project. And man, we feel like Hypha is very legit too. You guys have a lot of good.
This is what I also love. I have another integration point. We couldn't fucking care at all, excuse my language again, about doing centralized exchange listings or dealing with any of that. We didn't care. We had resources, we didn't bother. So I don't care to still do it. What I can then do is, if we integrate it a little more effectively, we have you being the exchange onboarding. and then they
Yeah.
come to a decentralized exchange and swap Verse to Hypha. And we can have that happen all behind the scenes, because in our constellation, every project that raises, they use the Hypha rails that already exist for people buying with Bitcoin, EOS, etc., to be able to fundraise. So that when someone buys, it goes Bitcoin, Hypha, their token, which provides liquidity for Hypha. So I'm proposing we do the same thing with Verse. When people come to any one of these exchanges, or at least when anyone wants to buy Hypha, we say, great, go to any of these exchanges, buy Verse, send it here, and they'll buy Hypha. So that brings more liquidity and demand and value for Verse as well.
Awesome.
We don't need to go to exchanges. And again, we integrate that way. I think that could be really powerful.
Yeah, man, that sounds great. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we have something to go back and think about, and would love to include our main guy CEO into the next fall. And yeah, and let's talk about our respective roadmaps, do these sort of pitch as you mentioned, show our products, and I think we should get to a point where naturally we can figure out the bridge, coordinate on tool roadmap, and just value add on each ecosystem, and in one ecosystem ideally. Yeah.
So I wanna reflect a little bit to show you a little how we're approaching this.
Okay.
You see this? The SEEDS ecosystem?
Yep.
Yeah, so your question was, tell us about some of the DAOs that you're working with. This is what we're doing, is we're looking at building a new economic system. So how we're structuring our DAOs is much like a new organism. So what it actually looks like is there's this center DAO. It's called the SEEDS Commons. It's a group of people who are formed by all the other DAOs. So reps from all the other DAOs come and make up the SEEDS Commons, right? So this is a coordination kind of core. But then outside of it is all the things the whole ecosystem needs. What does an ecosystem need to thrive? It needs tools. So all the tool building DAOs, i.e. Hypha DAO, we're one of the DAOs here. We exist in this organ. So communication and growth, that's a different organ, movement building, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where all the different DAOs actually form, is within these different tools and organs of the ecosystem. So this is how we're kind of approaching DAOs as well, is how do we continue to scale human coordination capacity? So just like the cells in our body, how their ability to interact with the world is orders of magnitude less than our ability as a human, right? What does it look like when humans actually come together to form new types of organisms? And if you look back at like the, how life has evolved on this planet, it started off with single cellular, multicellular, and it just kept stacking. And then the kingdoms came, fungal kingdom, plant kingdom, animal kingdom, right? So then we have like the human domain, which I think is opening up to a new kingdom of potential, which is what Web3 is really doing. It's building this kind of infrastructure for a new organization, a new organism really to emerge.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the big story. It's super meta. It's super weird.
Dude.
But there's a lot of people that get it. Oh wait, I was going to show you one other thing. This is the snapshot of SEEDS and kind of what we are. So there's about 10,000 people who, everyone who joins has to send an invite that costs money. So we kind of reversed it. Instead of like paying people, so you have a bunch of fake people, you actually have to pay to join. So we know you want to be here. So there's 10,500 people who have done that. 476 who have gone through all the governance processes necessary to be part of the SEEDS DAO. So we have 476 people in the SEEDS DAO. We've run 123 that have passed. So many more have failed. On-chain proposals over the last 3 years. So this has been the SEEDS DAO of, again, hundreds of people participating at hundreds of on-chain proposals over a few years. And distributed a lot of money for a whole lot of different causes that way. So this is, again, one of our other focuses, is we're building a new economic system. What does that look like? How do we coordinate to build new types of civilizations? What does that look like? Which is a totally different lens, I think, than what you guys are doing. But the tooling ecosystems are building super aligned. So anyway, I think, that's just kind of the summary. I think this is a really powerful partnership. There's a lot of different ways we could benefit each other. Could be fun.
Totally. Yeah. Trust me, everything you guys are doing especially resonates with us. I'm an econ major. I think it's incredibly fulfilling. I think you guys are redefining economics using Web3 concepts. And the main thing is you're facilitating and empowering, right, the DAO concept versus, not to get too much of a philosophical tangent, our DAOs truly better concepts and organizational concepts to decision-making, progression, etc., right? And I think you are helping push the envelope and empowering the DAOs to do that, because there's a lack of tools there. There's a lack of organization and applied thinking to real world applications, and you've done that here, and I love it. It's exciting. So for next steps, would love to connect our CEO to you and whoever else you think should be on the call, and let's talk about more and how we can help each other, and at the end of the day build a single ecosystem to help drive everything that we've talked about.
Yeah, definitely. So on the Hypha side, we have this Hypha Council that helps coordinate the strategy of the Hypha DAO. So we put out the invite for anyone in the council to join this call with you guys and your leadership team, whoever that consists of. And then we can dive into a little bit more practically what I presented here about different ways we can integrate. One, explore that token idea a little bit more. That would be really powerful. As in people buy Verse to come in to buy Hypha using all of your exchanges and liquidity. And then two, a very simple bridge between our two ecosystems and then doing that video. So I think that's a very easy win, both of those, to take a first step, and then we can continue exploring after that. So that's what I'm seeing right now. But of course, the next call is where we bring in everyone else and see where the collective wisdom takes us.
Awesome. Thanks, man. By the way, where are you based?
Everywhere. I was living in Bali for the last 3 years, 5 years almost, but now I'm in the States, and I got stuck here in COVID, and my wife's about to have a baby next month, so we don't want an early baby, so we're looking for some villages here in the States to live in, so we don't know. So we're kind of everywhere. Yeah.
That's really cool, man. Well, whenever you're in New York, let us know. Hopefully there's some villages in upstate that we can show you around.
Yeah, well, we're working with a cannabis farm in upstate New York too.
Nice.
Oh,
and they're doing everything on chain. They want to launch a DAO, and it's a whole fun project we're doing up there. And cannabis is huge because they're cut out from the financial system. So that's another one of our kind of focuses is farms and cooperatives. We're working with the Minister of Peru and Minister of Agriculture, in Peru, to set up DAOs for their 10,000 plus cacao and coffee cooperatives.
Wow.
They also they're having a hard time with organic certification. So they want everything to be on chain and tracked, and be able to click on the actual farm when you see a coffee or a cacao bar, chocolate bar rather, scan the QR code and then go and see the DAO of the village. So you can see how they're spending money, and you can buy right there from their marketplace. And that's another one of our allies that set up marketplace farms already. So that's kind of, again, the direction we're going, just to give you an idea of our strategy and where we're headed. Anyway, this has been brilliant, guys. I'd love to hear if Dimitri has anything to add to this before we close out, because Jeff, you and I have been going back and forth.
Just really impressed, I think, with obviously what you guys are doing, and we're really excited to work with you guys. And I think, it seems like we all both have the collective vision of just progressing the whole DAO concept, like to Web3, and also for your use cases beyond the Web2 and just basically the whole world. So, looking forward to hearing more.
All right, talk soon.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.
We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.